In the following video, we're going to be taking a look at getting GPT to understand ego and selfishness and zero-sum growth competition amongst people who are trying to achieve the same goal and be the top of their field, because there can only be one, right? It's like the Highlander. We're going to be looking at getting GPT to create apps inspired by an anime that's completely powered by ego called Blue Lock. And then from there, we're going to see what that app would look like in terms of like kind of some of the finer grained details, and have it generate some questions that kind of like the sorting hat in Harry Potter would be able to figure out the aptitude of people without them actually having to go figure it out themselves. So stick around and let's get into it. Okay. So today I want to talk about ChatGPT and its relation to turning an anime into a program. So for a number of videos now, we've taken quotes from books and kind of uh, converted them into programs. But I'm more interested if we can convert a philosophy of an anime into a program this time around. So in particular, I'm talking about the show Blue Lock, which is a show that is about soccer. It's an anime about soccer, but it's more written like a shonen in the sense that the characters are power scaling each other and they all want to be strikers and be the lead egoist on the team, right? So here's a good example of how selfish all these players are when they're a bunch of strikers in a kind of Squid Game like format to try and figure out who can be the best striker in the world. So the main character is saying, I crushed the dreams of these 11 people. And then he's kind of like walking across what we might think of as kind of like a World War I, kind of like a battlefield where, you know, you're in the trenches and everything is blown up and yada, yada, yada. And then he, stops in front of his fallen foe who's crying in front of him. And he's like, what is this feeling? It feels so good, right? To like have won and to have had that kind of competition go in his favor. So, I thought it was like pretty interesting. Like, again, it's just kind of like as a concept where it's just like, how does one absolutely win, right? In kind of a game like soccer, which is pseudo zero sum, but also kind of team playing mechanistic, right? And I think that, and not to draw any parallels that should be made about a TV show versus the real world, but I do think that in a lot of ways, capitalism kind of works like this, where it is zero sum and you buy things and you give up money to get money in exchange. But it's also, your whole team does win the World Cup, for example, right? In soccer versus like everybody gets to buy an iPhone, right? Because Apple got really rich. So I think that like, there are some really interesting real world parallels, but more in particular, I would love to see if GPT 4, actually, we're going to use 4 for this one because this is going to be more focused on kind of like new knowledge, but we also want it to come up with like really creative things. So I'm going to also up the temperature to like 0.9, which is a really high temperature. So actually we should probably do like 0.6 or something like that. And we are going to say, come up with a app ideas that can fit the selfish ego-ness of Blue Lock. These app ideas should not be soccer related, right? Because this is almost conflicted, right? Because Blue Lock is an anime about soccer, but I'm more interested in the selfish ego-ness philosophy. So we want things that aren't soccer related. So let's see how GPT does. Okay, so we have an ego boost social media. We have a leaderboard. So this is going to be coming in a bit slower than Turbo. Me time. Okay, now it's kind of speeding up a bit. Brag space. I'm liking this direction. Skill master. Okay. I feel like I should tell it to only do like 2 or 3 or something like that. Sometimes it'll just go like 10, which is crazy. Oh yeah, see, like it's still just it's going. It's on a run here. Okay, I think we're good. Oh no. It's still just going. Okay, 8. All right, you don't say. Okay, I'm going to stop it. Yeah, so I actually just closed the stream that was streaming this data. So let's read these and then see if we can choose one that we like as our favorite and see if we can go from there. So, Ego Boost is a social media platform where users compete to showcase their talents. Users can submit photos or videos of themselves showcasing their abilities and allowing other users to vote on the best entries. The app will create a leaderboard for fitness, art, cooking, etc., allowing people to embrace their selfish egoness by striving to be at the top. Funnily enough, I thought about creating something like this, probably not calling it Ego Boost, but it was from another anime called Hunter x Hunter, where people take this hunter exam and you can be good at anything. I think that the important part of the hunter exam is that they have hunters that do completely different things. They have like skill hunters and gourmet hunters who are interested in just like eating the best food. You have like cyber hunters who are interested in becoming the best hackers. You have, hunters that are like paleontologists versus hunters who are like just into martial arts and fitness or taking care of animals. And I think that that kind of philosophy was really inspiring to me as a creative, because I think a lot about like what it means to kind of be a person that can kind of create novelty in the world and do things in a way that you can get really deep into your field of mastery. If you've ever read Deep Work by Cal Newport, there's a video on my channel about it. It's this very similar kind of philosophy. So I think that like having a leaderboard, but more of like having a leaderboard of like the current incumbent best that are actually incentivized to check it, right? So imagine that if you were playing soccer, for example, and Messi or um, Cristiano Ronaldo were on this app, and they would actually have a lot of weight in the leaderboard because they're so good at soccer, right? So they almost kind of, uh, as they're kind of reaching the twilight of their career, they can choose the people who they would think have the most chance of becoming the next versions of them. And I think that that's a really interesting way to do it, where it kind of respects the traditionalism of the old guard, in terms of like the knowledge that got you there, but also kind of allows the professionals to kind of like choose the youth that are going to move the field forward. As you know from my website, my quote that's on the homepage is "Ars longa vita brevis," which is from Hippocrates, where he basically stated that art is long and life is short. And he doesn't mean fine art; he means art like medicine, right? The skill of medicine is going to far outlive Hippocrates, and he knew that, which is why he dedicated his life to learning everything that he could about medicine, but knowing that at the end of the day, he would never be able to fully capture medicine, right? He could move the field forward a little bit. Me Time is an app that helps users find activities tailored to their specific interests. So I'm going to leave a comment for this one actually real quick. So I like this one. I like this one. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Me Time is an app that helps users find activities to their interests by personality. A quiz generates recommendations for hobbies or events where they might excel. So that's interesting. So like finding, I keep forgetting which button does which. An app that helps under the hood finding where you excel. Yeah, I think that's interesting. It's kind of like the sorting hat in Harry Potter, where it's like, okay, where these kids have the highest chance of success of enjoying their Hogwarts career and becoming good wizards, but real in the sense that it's like, oh, well, I collected a bunch of data on you over the past couple of years, and I know that you're good at this. And even though you might not think you're good at it, we're going to slowly push you in this direction, which is what a good teacher does, right? Like if you have a good teacher in, let's say, middle school, right? That teacher will probably bring you out of your shell and say like, you're like, oh, I'm not confident that I can do math or whatever, but they see in you the ability to do something that you can't see in yourself, right? So this app could kind of serve by doing this events that you may excel thing, serve as this teacher where it's like, hey, I've noticed that you might not be good at this particular thing, but I believe in you, and I also think that you are really good at this other thing, and you can use that, right, as a strength. Brag Space is a digital journaling tool dedicated for those, or designed for those who are dedicated to celebrating personal accomplishments. Users can create posts about any achievement that they're proud of, as long as photos and videos of evidence of their success. This is social media in a nutshell, right? Social media is like a place where everybody brags. Like my Facebook feed, being somebody who's now in his late 20s, is literally just a bunch of people from my high school who are getting married and having kids. And every time I check it, which is like once every 4 months, it's just a bunch of people posting pictures of their wedding, which is like, okay, you're just using it to brag digitally, which is fine. You do you, but let's be honest and just say that this is just Facebook. Skill Master is a gamified learning platform where users level up by acquiring new skills through tutorials and challenges created by experts in various fields like music production or programming. They progress through levels, unlock badges that show their expertise while allowing them to access content resources in their field. This one's kind of interesting. It's kind of like as you get better at the thing that you're doing, you unlock more things to do. It's kind of like Duolingo, I guess, a little bit. Selfish Fitness is a workout tracking app that rewards you every time you complete your goals, whether it's 5K or losing weight, and encourages friendly competition based on overall point accumulation. This is what Apple Fitness does, I'm pretty sure. And their watch, given the kind of like fitness sharing thing that they do, he's like, oh, you completed your rings. Your friends didn't complete your rings. You should go tell them that they didn't complete their rings, which is, I think, kind of a good thing, right? Like the rings, for all the kind of uh hate they get, I guess, a little bit, they don't really get that much hate that I've heard about. They are doing something that's genuinely positive though, right? They're trying to get people to work out more, which is something that we all, myself included, need to be doing, right? My Style Battle is an outfit of the day sharing platform where fashion enthusiasts battle over which style reigns supreme, who wore it better, but more interactive and competitive. Users upload pictures of them wearing outfits of the day inspired by challenges, and then they get to vote. And then Ego Mentor is a platform that connects users with successful individuals in their field, allowing them to receive personalized advice on guidance on how to get success. And users can submit questions for feedback from mentors and develop their skills while also seeking out personal growth opportunities. And then Show Off is finally for showing off your personal collections. So these are actually really all over the place. This one's about collections. This one's about like LinkedIn kind of. This one's about fashion. This one's about working out. This one's about like Duolingo type thing. This is Facebook. This one is talking about like, your Hogwarts house sorting. And this one is the kind of hunter examination one. So I feel like I like a combination. I can't spell combination. Combination of, you gotta escape the number one, and which one else do I like? I like number one and number three. Number three. Actually, let's combine three of them. Number one, number three, and these are just kind of like showing off what you have. Number seven. What would a joined version of these look like? Okay, so now it's doing a features. And then we're going to just take our favorite feature and we're going to write it in YAML format, which is something that I just picked up from a Fireship video the other day. But I've also been thinking about it, because I've been doing method stubs on this channel for a while now, right? Okay. So now let's see what we have here. So we have Ego Arena, which is a competitive social media and mentoring platform designed for individuals who want to showcase their skills while receiving personalized guidance from experts. By combining Ego Boost, Me Time, and Ego Mentor, the app encourages users to embrace their ego-ness by striving to be at the top in various categories. So users can participate in themed competitions while submitting photos of themselves doing the tasks that they care about. On sign up, they take a quiz that generates tailored recommendations for activities that they might excel at, connecting them with their with mentorship, and then leaderboards and badges, and then social interaction and networking. So let's say that we want to, what do we want to do here? Let's lower the temperature now because we want it to actually be more on the nose. And then we're going to scroll back down to the bottom here, and then we're going to say, write a pseudocode program in YAML in the format function name args output, and then documentation. Okay, oops. For Ego Arena. So what it does. So the reason that I'm doing it in YAML is that GPT can actually write in a bunch of different languages, right? So if you write in the underlying language of programming, which is actually just logic, then you can use that logic and you can just copy paste it into something like Visual Studio Code and go from there. Okay, so it's really going here. It keeps doing this this thing where these hyphens get eaten. I don't know if it's a Chat GPT problem or Chat GPT MD problem or a Chat GPT problem, but hopefully it'll finish soon. I probably should have gotten rid of some of the, okay, cool. Some of the stuff that it does. So let's see, let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, that's weird. I can't. Whoa, this is really weird. Okay, let's just, oh wow, it's like this not even on the same word. That's weird. Okay. Do that. Do that. I think that these are, I don't know what Obsidian stores them as, but they're like their own sub lists or something. I don't really know what's going on. Doesn't really matter for the purposes of this video. So we have Ego Arena, which takes a user ID, returns a profile. Main function that takes a user ID and returns the user's profile with information like their talents, personalized recommendation, mentorship opportunities, which could like show up in your app, leaderboards, badges, social interactions. Sign up, self-explanatory. Take quiz is a function that performs users to answer questions about their interests. And probably, I think I would love to see like what it would kind of like come up with that code-wise. But you know, I see it kind of in my head as like, do you like art and science and stuff like that? But it could also be something kind of like an SAT. So let's actually ask what questions would fall under take quiz, because I'm interested in that. And then generate recommendations is going to, based on this quiz results, we're going to generate tailored recommendations. Submit entry is going to be a user, a category, and a media, which allows them to participate in these themed competitions that we said above. This allows you to vote. You probably only get to vote once, so it updates the vote count and then allows users to vote on their entries. And then mentor function establishes a connection between a mentor and a mentee based on their desired field experience. And then leaderboard is the displaying the leaderboard for your top performers in your given field. So this looks really good. I mean, like this is something that you can start and just jump off with. I think that this would be actually a pretty good app. I think especially implemented correctly, you don't need a huge network effect for it to be valuable, particularly in your own field, right? Like even if you, as we saw with like the Apple Fitness thing, even if it's amongst your 3 friends, if you're all kind of competing in the same kind of area, the competition can get really intense really quickly. So I actually want to see what questions it'll generate for this, and then we'll end it there. So what kind of aptitude questions would be best for take quiz? So let's see what it says. Okay, assessing the user interest preferences. Yeah, no, I get that. Oh, here we go. Here's some examples. Okay. Free time hobbies. What do you prefer to do? Oh, that's interesting. Do you like to run or paint? How much do you agree or disagree when you're confident? You see these a lot in like kind of psychology tests. I don't know how real they are. It's just kind of like they're so subjective. Photography. Oh, this is interesting. So I guess you could have GPT randomize the questions, right? Like if you choose a series of good base questions and then just randomize the things, you could actually get different responses for the same user, which could be super helpful in terms of like having them learn later. So imagine you had 1 month of what would you be most likely to pursue. This is actually a really good question. Write and publish, train, run for a marathon, create an art exhibition. So this one is engaging. I agree with that. And it's kind of similar to this one, but it's like, okay, this is your current skill and this is what you see yourself wanting to do. So overall, I'm actually pretty happy with what it generated here. I like the YAML. I like how much it fits the kind of blue lock egoism a little bit here. It doesn't really talk about soccer, right? We learned about kind of like different it does different fields. We have fashion here, we have LinkedIn here, Facebook in terms of bragging, and then we created a joint app that has aspects of multiple of them, and then actually generated some starting points for the code to be written. So I think that this was a success. So if you want to see the text for this video, make sure to check out my website at bramadams.dev, sign up for my newsletter, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I will see you later. Thanks for watching.